Venice, when you hear that name, you probably think of canals, gondolas, and beautiful buildings. Venice is a place that captures the imagination and hearts of many. It's a city that looks like it's floating on water, a real example of how clever people can be in a super cool engineering project. The way the buildings reflect in the water creates a magical atmosphere that is unique to Venice. But have you ever wondered how Venice was built? How did this city come to be in such an unusual location? How did people build a city on water, and how is it still there today? The foundations of Venice are a marvel of ancient engineering, using wooden piles driven deep into the ground. Venice's story is all about never giving up and learning to live with what you have. The Venetians adapted to their watery environment, turning challenges into opportunities. For hundreds of years, the people of Venice have lived with the water, figuring out how to build and live in this special place. Their daily lives are intertwined with the canals, making water an integral part of their existence. Their story shows us that people can do amazing things when they work together. Community spirit and collaboration have always been at the heart of Venice's survival and success. But Venice's story isn't just about the past. It's a living, breathing city that continues to evolve and adapt. It's still happening today as the city faces new problems like climate change and rising sea levels. These challenges threaten the very existence of Venice, making it a race against time. The same cleverness that built Venice is now helping to protect it for the future. Innovative engineering projects like the MOSE flood barriers are being implemented to safeguard the city. Come with me as we explore the amazing engineering of Venice and discover the secrets of this incredible city. We'll delve into the history, the present, and the future of Venice. We'll look at the problems Venice faces and the solutions people are creating to make sure it's still here for years to come. The ingenuity and resilience of the Venetians are truly inspiring. Get ready to be amazed by how smart the Venetians are. Their ability to innovate and adapt is a testament to human creativity and determination. To understand how Venice was built, we need to delve into its fascinating and unique foundation. We first need to understand its special geography, which is unlike any other city in the world. Venice isn't built on solid ground like most cities. Instead, it stands on a series of islands. It's built on a lagoon, which is like a shallow pool of water separated from the Adriatic Sea by a thin strip of land. This lagoon is a natural barrier. Imagine a giant bathtub filled with more than 100 tiny islands. Each island is a piece of the puzzle. That's basically what the Venetian lagoon is like. A mosaic of islands creating a unique landscape. These islands, formed over centuries by river deposits and tidal movements, became the building blocks of Venice. But the islands themselves weren't strong enough to hold a city. They were marshy and unstable. The ground was squishy and wobbly, not good for regular foundations. Building on such terrain was a challenge. This is where the cleverness of the early Venetians comes in. They had to innovate to make their city stand. They came up with a brilliant idea: wooden poles. These poles were driven deep into the ground to create a stable foundation. The foundation of Venice is hidden under its canals and buildings. Driven deep into the bottom of the lagoon are millions of wooden poles, mostly from alder trees. These trees are really good at resisting water, and they were brought to the lagoon from nearby forests. But how do these wooden poles last for so long underwater? The answer is in the lagoon's special environment. There isn't much oxygen in the mud under the water, so the wood doesn't rot. Actually, over time, the water and minerals make the wood even stronger, almost like stone. This clever use of easy-to-find materials shows how resourceful the early Venetians were. They turned a place that seemed impossible to build on into a city that has lasted for centuries. Building Venice was amazing, but keeping this special city going has its own challenges. The canals, even though they're beautiful, need constant cleaning to remove mud and stuff so boats can move through them. Imagine a giant vacuum cleaner sucking up mud from the canal floor. The wooden foundations hidden underwater also need to be checked and fixed regularly. Special divers, called in Italian, are really important for this. They check the poles for damage, replace any broken ones, and make sure the city above is safe and sound. This constant maintenance is a big part of life in Venice. It's a never-ending job to protect the city and make sure it's around for future generations. Venice has always had a tricky relationship with water, but lately this has become harder because of something called, which means high water. This happens when high tides, strong winds and low air pressure make the water in the lagoon rise a lot. Venice gets flooded in low areas, including famous places like St. Mark's Square. Venetians are used to some flooding, but has been happening more often and getting worse because of climate change and rising sea levels. This is a big problem for the city's future. Buildings, artwork and even the foundations of Venice are in danger of being damaged by salt water and all the flooding. Fixing this problem needs some clever solutions, and that's where the MOSE Project comes in. Because of the rising sea levels, Venice started a big project to protect itself, the MOSE Project. This ambitious initiative aims to safeguard the city from the increasing threat of flooding, which has been a persistent issue for centuries. MOSE stands for Modulo Sperimentale Elettromeccanico, which is Italian for Experimental Electromechanical Module. This name reflects the innovative and experimental nature of the project, which combines advanced technology with traditional engineering principles. This amazing engineering project is designed to stop high tides and prevent flooding in the Venetian lagoon. By doing so, it aims to preserve the unique cultural and historical heritage of Venice, which is at risk due to climate change. Imagine a bunch of giant hollow gates underwater at the entrances to the lagoon. These gates are strategically placed to provide maximum protection against the rising waters. When high tide is coming, these gates are filled with air and they rise up like walls to block the water. This process is both fascinating and crucial for the city's defense against flooding. After the high tide goes down, the gates are filled with water again and they sink back down so the water can flow normally. This cyclical process ensures that the lagoon's natural ecosystem remains undisturbed. The MOSE project is a great example of modern engineering and how much the Venetians want to protect their city. It showcases the lengths to which humanity can go to preserve its heritage and adapt to changing environmental conditions. Even though it's had some problems and delays, the project is a big step in protecting Venice from climate change. The challenges faced highlight the complexity and scale of such an ambitious endeavor, but the progress made so far is promising. Venice's story shows us how tough and clever people can be. From building on wooden poles to making a system of floodgates, the people of Venice have always adapted to their unusual environment. As you walk through the narrow streets and ride in the gondolas, remember that you are in a city built on hundreds of years of knowledge, cleverness, and respect for the water around it. Venice's story isn't finished. It still inspires us to find creative solutions to the problems facing our planet. Let Venice be a symbol of hope and a reminder of what people can do. It's a city that has survived against nature for centuries and continues to amaze us with its beauty and strength.